evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to be doing just a quick review, picks and predictions for Robbie Lawler versus Carlos Condit tomorrow night. Live on pay-per-view, so here we go. Yeah, UFC 195. There's going to be so many numbers and so many things coming up later on, it's hard to keep track of everything, but January 2nd, happy 2016 by the way, a nice, interesting way to ring in the new year. Now before I get started, let me mention two things. Ronda Rousey. You know, people need to stop giving her so much crap for finally losing. You know, against Holly Holm. You know, it was a tough loss. It seemed like it was heartbreaking for her family, especially her sister and all that jazz, but at the end of the day, Ronda Rousey did do a lot to continue and to strengthen and carry the female divisions in the UFC. And if not for that, we wouldn't have the women's strawweight division right now, would we? With Joanna Jędrzejczyk, with Claudia Gadelha, and so that's one thing that we need to take into account. And if they were to fight again, I honestly don't think that Ronda Rousey would win, unless she drastically changes her game plan and finds a better coach, but at the end of the day, she's got to make that decision. But I don't know if Edmond Tarverdyan is the right striking coach for her. But if she does lose, again, she says she's going to retire, and I think that she probably will retire if she does. And that she's going to go on and make movies, make like the Roadhouse remake coming up. She's probably going to be in a Marvel movie at some point, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Conor McGregor, you are the freaking man. I mean, I keep picking against you in all these fights, and you keep defying odds, defying expectations, and you went in there and knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. The same Jose Aldo that hadn't lost in 10 years. I liked his chances to win, more so than Chad Mendes when they even fought, but Chad Mendes put up more of a fight, but wow. I don't know if if you will have the same run like Jose Aldo did, but job well done, man. You are exactly what the UFC needs right now. And to anyone who hates on Conor McGregor for all of his trash talking, or that he says too much, or he's too crazy, one word in response to that: oversaturation. Okay, Robbie Lawler versus Carlos Condit tomorrow night. If this fight doesn't win Fight of the Night, you know, there's a problem with the universe. Two strong, hard, heavy hitters. Two guys that are willing to let the blood flow and willing to put it all in the octagon at one, you know, at any given moment. Robbie Lawler's coming off of his victory over Rory McDonald, a fight in which, again, I was skeptical. Like, I always am kind of skeptical against Robbie Lawler. I thought he would lose to Johnny Hendricks. He did the first time, not the second time. I thought he would lose to him. But he went in there and he just, you know, put a slow, methodical beating on, you know, Rory McDonald and finished him with a jab right to the face, and he could take no more. The Canadian could take no more. But talk about a career turnaround. This guy, Robbie Lawler, went from being the guy that got knocked out by Nick Diaz, the guy that got submitted by Jake Shields in Strikeforce. His record is spotty at times, but he's definitely a traveling man of mixed martial arts. From, you know, Strikeforce to his leave from the UFC to coming back, and he has really revitalized his career. 37 fights total, 26 wins, 20 by knockout, 1 submission win, and 5 decisions. 10 losses. One of those is by... Wow, hold on. Yeah, he only has the 1 knockout loss to Nick Diaz back in 2004, April 2nd. Let me see. Hold on. April 2nd, yeah. And he got submitted by Evan Tanner after that. Then left the UFC. Okay, this, I think, is a little too soon for Carlos Condit to get a title fight of this magnitude, because just a couple fights ago, he got his knee badly injured by Tyrone Woodley in a fight that he was losing, and I thought he would lose, but I didn't expect him to get hurt like that. It's very weird listening to Joe Rogan's commentary on it, because you can tell Joe Rogan really wanted Carlos Condit to win that one. But okay, at the end of the day, I've got to go with Robbie Lawler to win this fight. He hits like a Mack truck. His wrestling will be better. Carlos Condit will have more surprises on the feet, I think. He can mix things up better, and out of all the guys that could knock out Robbie Lawler, I like Condit's chances to get like a TKO, or to maybe pull guard and lock something up, but Robbie Lawler's vicious breakneck pace, I think, is going to be able to push through that. So I'm going to pick Robbie Lawler by decision, or maybe a 4th round TKO in which the doctor comes in, looks at Carlos Condit's bloody cut up face and says, "Sorry, we can't do this anymore." That'll be it. So okay, next fight, Stipe Miocic versus Andrei Arlovski. Okay, Andrei Arlovski coming off of that sort of disappointing win over Frank Mir at UFC 191, and Stipe Miocic, I think he's coming off of that brutal beatdown to Mark Hunt. It's been a while since I've seen Miocic fight, but Andrei Arlovski has at least looked better by comparison. This is a close one. I was gonna pick Stipe. He's going to be the better grappler, and he might have the better conditioning. I don't know about the better chin, because I picked against Andrei Arlovski a lot because he had such a bad chin, but now since he's moved with, I think, Greg Jackson and Mike Winklejohn, he's gotten better, and he's shown more tenacity. I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm going to pick Andrei Arlovski to win by TKO 2nd round or majority decision. Okay, next one. Albert Tumenov versus Lorenz Larkin. Albert Tumenov is he's a master of sports in hand-to-hand combat. He's been active since 2010 from Russia, and he's on a pretty good winning streak. He's beaten Anthony Lapsley, Matt Dwyer, Nico Masuka, and Alan Juban by a head kick at UFC 192. Meanwhile, Lorenz Larkin, on the other hand, he's beaten John Howard and Santiago Ponzinibbio. I'm going to go with Albert Tumenov in this one. He's got more fiery stuff going on, I think. Okay, Diego Brandao versus Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega is an interesting case. He's undefeated. He is coming off of a no contest win over Mike De La Torre at the Lawler versus Brown card, and he had a nice TKO win over Thiago Tavares. This guy has a very active guard, and he's always staying busy and everything. And Diego Brandao, even though he's on a 2-fight win streak, which is good, former Ultimate Fighter winner too. I think it's going to be tough for him to be able to keep a guy like Brian Ortega on the ground. I'm going to go with Brian Ortega by round 3 submission or knockout. And I'm going to pick Abel Trujillo versus Tony Sims. This is a replacement, I think. So unless Tony Sims is something special, got to go with Albert Trujillo. I'm picking Michael McDonald to defeat Masanori Kanehara, Kyle Noak to defeat Alex Morocco, Justin Kirsch to defeat Nina Asarov, Scott Holtzman to defeat Drew Dober, but actually let me see. Drew Dober, he's coming off of that loss to Efrain Escudero. Yeah, that's rough. I'm going to go with Scott Holtzman. And the main fight, on the Fight Pass card, the only one I do want to talk about, Dustin Poirier versus Joseph Duffy. Joseph Duffy, the last man to beat Conor McGregor, and he did it back in, let's see, what was that? Back in 2010, November 27th. So 5 years ago, he submitted Conor McGregor in Cork City, Ireland, in just 38 seconds. Wow. Heck of a win in hindsight. And that's the one thing that's brought up over and over again. Joseph Duffy's only loss is to Ivan Musario. He also has the win over Damien Lapoulis at a CWFC 70. He beat Jake Lindsay and Ivan George in the UFC. So his competition that he's faced, they haven't been great, but he got 2 good finishes in both of them. And this fight was sort of pushed back. Yeah, the Joseph Duffy-Dustin Poirier fight was pushed back because Joseph Duffy, while sparring, he was not wearing headgear and got a concussion. So that's what happens. You know, people need to take it easy in the gym at times, and they've got to be careful. You know, it's amazing that Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor and Chris Weidman and Luke Rockhold and all those guys on that card, not one of them in the main event got injured somehow. I'm going to pick Dustin Poirier to defeat Joseph Duffy. This is a big leap up in competition for Joseph, so that's who I think is going to win there. I'm going to pick Michinori Takada to defeat Joe Soto, and Edgar Garcia to defeat Sheldon Westcott. So those are my picks. Good night and Happy New Year.